Bits, innit?
Bits, innit? Good afternoon. Good more than morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time of day it is. Welcome into Twitch.tv podcast.
Bits, innit?
My name is Graham Day and I'm joined by the man that we call
Baby. Good morning. Oh, that hurt.
Good morning.
That hurt.
I'll read. Viv, good morning. Thank you very much for throwing the bits at us. Graham, you are quiet. What about now? My mic is losing its oh, no.
Losing its resistance, some people may say.
Graham, you are quiet. Alerts are loud. Yeah, the alerts could be a little bit loud because we were attacking Bibby on the weekend with the. So, yeah. I remember when we could hear Graham. Can you not hear me at all? Mute your mic a sec. Let me see if mine's kaput. Okay, 1 second.
Doesn't want any of this smoke, right? Okay. Hello. No, that sounds normal. It was normal before we tested them.
Hey, how you doing? Nice? Nice.
Loose connection. It could be. It could be.
Bits, innit?
Is it? No, don't know. Don't know. Don't quite know. Bibby is greater than Graham-ish.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, there was an ish there, so. Bibby's audio is greater than Graham. That's definitely for sure.
Is yours still muted?
Nope.
Okay. Interesting.
Hi, Graham Day.
Hi, how you doing?
Okay, yeah. So we are live on Twitch.tv/AskGramUploads. I'm just gonna lean suggestively across the desk because that's how we roll. It's quite bright over this side of the desk, actually. The light from the ceiling lights over there. I'll go back to my dark corner over here. Let's see who is in the stream. Let me jump back up. We had Bacon Chin nice and early. Viv dropping the bits in it before we went live. Bacon Chin as well. And then that's when we figured out that I have mic issues. What would it be? We wouldn't be streaming on ICU from the studio if we didn't have some sort of mic issues, right? Although I did actually have mic issues yesterday, so shout out to the Wave 3 Massive. Looks at Vivalanco, doesn't mention anything to his message. But yeah, shout out to the Wave 3 Massive. However, yesterday in the stream, so we went live about 6:30, 6:45 last night, and within 3 minutes, not even that, I'd not even finished the countdown, Manny had gone off his stream and dropped a massive raid on us. So we started the stream with 300 people watching, and then my PC blue screened. So we lost the entire raid, but that's not all we lost. That was a shame to lose the raid, but the biggest shame was the fact that it just completely wiped my wavelink. So I now have to reset up my wavelink, all my mic stuff. But as Vivalanco will know, I had a conversation with him a couple of weeks ago. Wave Link, aka the Wave 3 microphones, now accept VSTs. So anyone that streams using broadcast software like OBS or Streamlabs OBS or whatever, you can add VSTs, which is basically the cool little gadgets that make you sound better. So the suppressors, your compressors, so you can keep your audio sounding all good. That's all within Wavelink itself now. In beta phase, I wasn't going to touch it, but because my mic just shit itself, the software just shit itself, I'm going to do it. We're going to have it. Nice.
Do you want to try the other microphone now?
Hi.
There we go.
Let's go. Timeless says, afternoon, gents. Thank you very much for the retweet on social media, Mr. Timeless. Thank you very much. Ads! Welcome in. FIFA Addiction says, Bibby is much louder. He is. He's just a big gob. But his microphone also added to that as well, so that was a little bit. West says, Viv doesn't have a Wave 3, right? I don't think he does. I don't know. West, I should say Ice Cream Uploads. Wife now knows. Fuck! Did I tell? I'm sorry. Moving on. That was in the past. Move on and stop sounding like Bieber. What? Nichio. Hey. How are you doing? Hey. How are you doing this morning? Thank you very much once again last night, Nichio, for the gifted sub to Bateson, who not only did we get a big raid from Manny, we also got a host from Bateson, and Nichio did Nichio things and dropped a gifty on him. I don't know if you caught what I was saying last night either, Nichio. You were asking what I'd said, and when I mentioned your name, I just basically said you were good people because you were doing nice things like giving away your PS camera to people without the idea of just milking people for it. So that's what I'm saying. Viv says, now I'm always open with spending, just never how much. Yeah, I mean, the Wave 3 is a really good mic for £4, though, to be fair.
Absolutely.
Best £4. Oh, actually,
I got mine with McDonald's Monopoly.
She can see us winking, can't she?
Even on audio services.
There she is. I knew it. I knew as soon as I said, hey, Danielle would jump in the chat because I mentioned it on stream yesterday. I was in Candy Bear's stream the other night. I think I actually mentioned it when we were in here the other day as well, actually. She went, this is Ice Cream Uploads. Hey. And I didn't realise I do that, but now I realise I do that all the time. So every time I say it, it's just I hear it, so hey. And he just says, okay, fair. I mean, I was saying bad things as well, but if I just tell you that it's good, then you don't go back and check the bod. So nice. Anyway, how are we all doing? Welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. It is in the morning.
Yeah. Is this the biggest dish we've had? It's got to be close. It's knocking on the door.
It's got to be. To be fair, it's been a very busy day.
Yeah.
I've gone from meeting to meeting. I now also have 2 more meetings in the afternoon. So great. Yay. It might be 3 meetings this afternoon. So yeah, busy all day. So we appreciate anyone that's dropping in on your lunch breaks or whatever. It's not quite 10 a.m. It's definitely 10 a.m. with a big old ish. We go live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads each and every single weekday with The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, if we do say so ourselves. We go live at 10 a.m. ish each and every single weekday, and it's important that if you guys are with us on Twitch that you get involved in the chat, because we do have the live stream on Twitch, but we also have a podcast. This is turned into an on-demand podcast, a video for YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud and Google Play. There is lots of people that watch and listen to this on demand, so please do, if you are with us live on Twitch, make sure you get involved. Give us your thoughts and impressions. We'll give you our thoughts and impressions on the stories as we go, but we want your thoughts and impressions, and then we want your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. That's kind of how the whole show works, so make sure you do get involved. Before we go any further, do you love me? Or would you love... Okay, before we go any further, ! Loot drop. If anyone could just type that in the chat. There has been a situation with the loot drop. So if you watched us do the live draw in this studio on Tuesday, and you saw that you didn't win the loot drop, well, actually, maybe you did. Because as we found out last night, when shout out to Iceman, by the way, Iceman won the loot drop. He won a copy of Call of Duty Vanguard. And it turns out he shouldn't have been in the draw. God knows.
Let us down. Discord has let us down.
It's not even. It's Discord and Twitch, 2 mega corporations that we're expecting their APIs to do things that it just didn't do. Anyway, long story short, we've manually gone through everyone that should have been in the loot drop, and we are going to do the loot drop draw again. So we don't know who's won it yet. All we know is that Iceman came forward and said, I shouldn't have won it. I shouldn't have been a sub on that day. I'm in the Discord, and for some reason, I shouldn't be, but I am. Yeah. So Iceman has given up his prize. We will sort Iceman out with something. If we can get an extra code, we'll get him one as well, because that's what you want to see. You want to see that kind of honesty. Look, his words were, I mean, to be honest, didn't really want Call of Duty anyway. Which, I mean, fair enough. Fair. But it was like, also, I didn't want to take something else from someone else in the community that should have won it when I shouldn't have won it, that's what you want to see. Yeah. When you're in a community, you want people like that around you. So GG's, mate. Thank you very much. So Iceman has thrown his prize back at us with much... anger, no, not anger at all, just generosity. Nice guy. So yeah, we will redraw the loot drop. We've done the names manually this time. I say we have. I mean, we have done this. I mean, I'm pointing at Baby just because he's done all the work, but also because if it doesn't work, it's his fault again.
Exactly. Yeah. If Twitch and Discord decide to, part ways again and just leave us in the shit with something that's meant to work that is now not working.
It's funny because we were like, do we just do an export of the list each time, or should we have like a Discord channel where we can throw extra prizes in, this, that, and the other? Do you know, off the fly, let's do that one. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Because Discord's API and Twitch's API are always going to work.
Yeah.
And we can count on the maths and the numbers of these big mega corporations and the machines, right? Yeah. No,
it's not happening.
So for some reason it just didn't work. So yeah, anyway, we will redraw that. One person will still get themselves a copy of Call of Duty Vanguard at launch. We don't know who yet. So keep your eyes and your ears and stuff.
It's out tomorrow, isn't it?
It's out tomorrow.
It's out tomorrow.
So we'll either draw it today or tomorrow. Either way, you'll get it on launch day. So
that stinks of a spinning wheel tomorrow morning in the scoop. That
I think it does.
Stinks of it.
Although, can you do that on stream?
I should be able to, yes, but will I do it correctly and will I do it as flawless as you usually do? Probably not. So,
yes.
Iceman, you're probably going to win again.
Let's go. So yeah, if you're a sub and you were a sub on Monday, or if you're not a sub now but you were a sub on Monday, then don't worry, your names have been scraped. We will enter everyone that was a subscriber on a Monday into another random draw, and then we'll get a winner from there. Nice. Where did we get to? David says, that's the first thing that came to my mind when you said, before we go any further, do you love me? Will you love me forever? Do you need... Okay. What honestly says Timeless? GG's Iceman says West. It's correctly done. Great.
That's
Flawless.
Meatloaf that, innit?
That is Meatloaf.
Is that... What? Is it Dashboard? Is that... No, Paradise.
Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
I tell you what, if there is any time for Mrs. Bibby to be summoned, it's that fucking song. Every time there's karaoke, her and her sister, for the 7 minutes that song goes on for, it's like...
You need about hell 13 minutes. If you're gonna go there, Meatloaf, you want the full 14 minute experience. Yeah, me and David grew up in a very Meatloaf heavy house. So.
I've just been triggered and traumatized. My flashbacks to the Albion on a Friday night.
Gray Flawless, didn't he do my win with no audio? No. We did it with the audio, and we thought, do you know what? It would probably have more impact if we take the audio away and add audio description. So we did. No, okay, I didn't realise there was no audio. So fuck. Anyway, moving on without those details. Okay, not as much as on the scoop. Okay, enough of the slander.
I'm fucking sick of this.
Give
you know
away
what I mean?
Call of Duty codes and everything.
We go live every single weekday at 10 a.m. I mean, today is ish, but
10 a.m. somewhere.
Fair point. Well, it's 10:30 somewhere.
Yeah, ish.
give or take the 30 minutes and whatever else.
Like Canada has like a 30-minute time zone, though.
Do they?
Yeah, so one place. I only know this from watching Halifax PUBG stream. There's a place in Canada. I don't know if it's Newfoundland or something, and they have a 30-minute time zone because it's not close enough to Nova Scotia to be in the same hour, but not far enough over to be out of it. So so there you go.
That's the ultimate quiz question, that, because I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't know that was a thing. There you go. Welcome to Geography with Ice Cream Uploads. Numbaidu too. There you go. We're learning. Every day's a learning day.
Two places then.
So yes, that's not it though. It's not just about random bits of time zones. We also bring you news about the global video games industry. And today's story, the lead one, could potentially be a tasty one. I mean, it's probably a good job that we left it till. Actually, I'm going to say it's a good job that we left it till 12-ish to start the scoop, because we've got all afternoon, but it's actually probably not a good job at all because we've not had our dinner, and this could last a whole while. Just this one story.
I'm starving as well.
Same. But the lead story is that 2K Sports remains coy on if it would be interested in poaching FIFA from EA. So we've had a lot of discussion about this over the last 2 months. Is the next FIFA going to be called FIFA 23? Is it going to be called EA Sports Football Club? Is it going to be called something else? Could FIFA be snapped up? We've had conversations of, would Konami be interested in going into that? Now the conversations are that 2K, they've not said they are, but they've not said that they aren't. Ooh. And that... Not saying anything. And if Mr. T's in chat, he naturally can't say anything.
He just left. He just left the chat.
But quite often, when a brand doesn't say something, it means something. Not always, just the caveat, not the caveat. So that's what we'll start with. Just a recap of the, a precap of the stories that we will follow that up with. Once again, Mr. T can't speak about this one either as well, but Marvel's Midnight Suns has been delayed to the second half of 2022. The game has been pushed back to add more story and for overall polish. That's not it though. EA themselves have their own delays as its new PGA Tour golf game has delayed its new PGA Tour golf game with no new release window set. So PGA Tour, the golf game from EA, not the 2K one, that one has been delayed with no release date just yet. And then finally we'll wrap up with the fact that Netflix begins rolling out Netflix games on Android. But first,
Yes.
this one, I think. Is it this one? It is this one. Nice. Written by Andy Robinson at VGC. 2K Sports remains coy on if it would be interested in poaching FIFA from EA. EA's long-running partnership with the football body could potentially end next year. 2K Sports parent Take-Two remained coy on Wednesday when asked if it would be interested in the FIFA soccer license should rival EA Sports fail to renew its long-running deal with the body. Last month, Electronic Arts published a public statement claiming that it was reviewing its licensing agreement with FIFA and implying that it could cut ties with the FIFA brand name and rename its series while retaining separate deals for league, player, and stadium licensing. It later emerged that the company has filed trademark applications for EA Sports FC, which could potentially be the new name for the franchise should it choose to rebrand the series. FIFA, the governing body of FIFA, later fired back via its own statements, suggesting that it was open to working with new video games companies. During its latest financial results call on Wednesday, transcribed by VGC, Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick was asked about the EA FIFA dispute and if the 2K Sports parent would be interested in expanding its football game output should the license become available. Currently, Take-Two's only soccer series is mobile management game Top 11, which it acquired along with developer Nordeus this summer. I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
Quote, "We are so thrilled to have Nordeus in the Take-Two family," Zelnick replied. "They're just crushing it, and Top 11 is a great beloved title. I just couldn't be happier to be in the soccer manager business through Top 11 with the Nordeus team." He added, "That's a big step forward for us. We haven't been in that sport before, and I think I'll leave it at that today." Interesting. So we'll just take a little bit of a step into the wrap-up after that. So Take-Two and EA have often competed for major sporting rights. Last year, 2K Sports published PGA Tour 2K21 and recently announced a partnership with longtime EA ambassador Tiger Woods. EA had previously held the PGA license for 25 years and is planning on its own new PGA Tour game next year. Ish. So we'll leave that there. Actually, I've not done this already. Hi, I'm Green Day. Hey, I forgot to do this before because all the mics shit themselves. I'm joined by Bibby at Graham Day at We've Got Babinho. Nice. But we'll go with our first story of the day. 2K could be getting into football games. Nothing says that they are, but they could be because let's just leave it there. Let's not say what does it say. I think I'll leave it at that today. So we have a football game already. We don't want to talk about anything else. Bib, thoughts?
A football game that I didn't even know that they had.
No, absolutely.
Like, I've played Top 11 for years. I'm not currently playing it because it gets to a point where it feels like you need to put money in to compete. Like your first season's usually all right. Second season, you kind of have to put money in to be able to survive. But yeah, FIFA Addiction mentions it there. EA going with EA Sports Football Club. They're easy to work that one out. I agree, but I also think, as we've mentioned when this story first broke, not the 2K stuff, but in terms of EA and FIFA potentially going their separate ways, is this something from EA where they're just going to try and drive down the price because they was paying for something that essentially they don't need anymore? Like, they can call it whatever they want and people are still going to buy it. FIFA, however...
Jam sandwich! Maybe not.
Like, if FIFA need the money from EA, I say, do they need the money? No, but it's nice to have however much they was paying for it.
Do they need to charge you 90 quid for even the most basic nosebleed seats to something? No, but they like the cash.
It's easy money for them because they don't really do anything. They just give them the rights for them to be able to have it. Sorry, the lurk command won't work here. Vern has something else that I need to get injected into this one.
Takes a seat at the back of the ice cream van.
There you go. You get an audio version of it.
Nice.
So yeah, EA not having it. I feel like this is all them trying to drive down the price because again, the FIFA need EA more than EA need FIFA. FIFA is the game. Just because they've got the name doesn't necessarily nowadays mean that they are going to be the be all and end all. However, for other video games that are out there, like Goals apparently might be looking at to try and purchase a slice of it. You've obviously got VFL. You've obviously got Pro Evo or eFootball. All of these places now will they be looking to buy it? I don't think eFootball needs it. But VFL and Goals to try and break into the market will.
Is it VFL or is it UFL?
It might be UFL.
Because I was thinking UFL, but then I was thinking actually VFL, and I was thinking actually, is that like German football team?
Yeah.
VFL Strasbourg or something.
Yeah,
like
I think I've got that one right. I think it might be UFL. But yeah, it's interesting because I think they're going to try. I think if anything, they're going to try and split this out between different football gaming companies to try and get that money back because I don't think EA will. I don't think they need to buy it. I think most people will probably be happy with the name EA Sports Football. Like, it's very to the point. I imagine if they was going to drop the Madden name next year, they'll just go with VFL. Why have I got that fucking stuck in my head? EA Sports NFL, something like that, or EA Sports Hockey.
That's not going to confuse. Putting more FLs in there. VFL, NFL.
So I think if they wanted to universally save themselves an absolute fortune across the board, then yeah, but coming with the FIFA license comes the overlays and things like that, which is obviously what FIFA's known for. The bells and whistles, I think people call it, having like the overlay, the match presentation. So
everything right down to the specific fonts. Like certain fonts will live on in your memory. Like, oh, that's the World Cup 2002 font. Or,
it's like the footballs. Like we was having this discussion in the office yesterday. Like, what is your favourite football of all time? Like, as an entity, the football ever in a competition. What is your favourite football of all time? And we got given top 3. I can give you my number. My number 1 is 2002 World Cup ball, followed by the 2002 Barclays Premier League ball, followed by the Total 90 2006 yellow and purple ball.
See, I'd probably be up there with 2002. That's the golden thingy one because I had that as well.
FIFA Nova, FIFA Nova.
FIFA Nova. Yeah. So I'm up there with that one. I'll take that one. I also have, and it's purely for rose tinted glasses, but a plain white ball with a Nike tick on it from all of the Ronaldinho sort of adverts.
Okay.
That one, and then Mitre Premier League.
I was about to say he's going to go with a Mitre. Like, he's showing his age there.
Fucking Mitre Premier League, baby.
I'm thinking, like, most people's... Like, if you're under the age of 20, I don't even think you would have ever seen a Mitre football. I don't even know... Mitre actually might do the lower leagues. I'm not too sure. I'm fairly certain I've seen people playing with Puma balls, but, like, Mitre not being in the Premier League, obviously that was a big change, going to Nike and things, but...
I remember saving up like 15 quid when I was a kid. It was like 90 quid for you young'uns. I remember saving up 15 quid, going to Argos and buying a Mitre Premier League ball, thinking, big things. And everyone was like, it was like, have you seen, what's that film, American Psycho, where they're all like business cards and all that?
Yeah.
It's like, you turn up on the playground like Monday and everyone's like, look at me with my like old Mitre Premier League.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there he is with his trust in. It's like scuffed because he's played on the playground and shit. Some guy with something that's just like one of those hexagonal ones, 17 of the panels are missing. But it's fine. We'll use that if his goes missing or whatever.
It was a case before it turned into a flyway.
Exactly. And then I just like
slip that one out. Boz made a very good suggestion yesterday as well. 2004 European football, all grey with the black arrows on it. That's a fantastic ball.
See, actually, I mean, I like Champions League footballs. The only thing with UEFA Champions League footballs is because they're always the same style, but with like the art is like within the stars. I've got quite a few of the like finals balls from when we've done like events and stuff. I love a UEFA Champions League football. They just don't, even though every one of them's a work of art, they just don't stick out in your mind.
Yeah, they all look the same.
Yeah.
You just say it doesn't matter about the pattern that's around it. You just imagine a white ball stars. That's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about
when
anything
you zoom
else.
it out, it could be like, it's a dark, like ultramarine blue with the Berlin skyline. It just looks like a white ball with black stars to me, just like every other Champions League ball ever. Nice.
Yeah. FIFA Prediction says that Adidas' greatest ever was the tango. I do love the orange tango.
Yeah, to be fair, that is a good shout. But yeah,
in terms of FIFA, itself, EA are buying the licenses for their overlays and their matchday presentation, and obviously having the FIFA Pro license being completely separate is a massive dub, because if it all comes as a package, I imagine it would be a hell of a lot more, but it'll also be a lot difficult to let that go. Like if you know full well you had the likeness and the play names and stuff like that, all the representation of the specific player on that FIFA Pro license, that'll be that you'd pay whatever it takes to be able to get hold of that. Obviously PES have done that to a large degree. Obviously we were miles away from the Roberto Larcos days,
Mistle round
and Oranges 11 and stuff like that. We're a million miles away from that, but not having that license would be a bigger killer than not having the presentation and overlay, especially if you're playing on PC. Like we've had this with PES. Me and you have done Masters of the League, where the whole match day presentation, even down to Durante's behind the scenes extra cut scenes that you might not necessarily get in the vanilla version of the game, but all of that stuff can be modded in if you can be asked. I mean, that stuff is only for the career mode players anyway, so if you are an Ultimate Team player, you're probably not going to miss it that much, but it would obviously hit hard the career mode guys.
I mean,
which is unfortunate.
I mean, we spoke about it before in terms of you get yourself a Premiership license, you get yourself the clubs and the stadiums, you get yourself the kits and the balls. That's 90% of a football life done for top tier players. Obviously, if you're a fan of the Championship, you're like, fuck that shit, whatever. But you get what I'm saying. And same with La Liga, Serie A, and so on. Then in the summer, you get the extra, which is the Euros and the World Cup.
Yeah,
and that's nice to have, but in your football career, if you translate that to, we go to the international summer, and it's like International Cup, European International Cup, or whatever, it's like, I know exactly what that is. I don't need that. But I've still got all the sights and sounds, the bells and whistles. I've still got Paul Pogba and his likeness. I've still got Cristiano Ronaldo and his license. I've still got the rest of the United squad, and then Liverpool, and then Arsenal, and then Chelsea, and all of the big guns. I've got Erling Haaland in there, and Jadon Sancho, and all the rest of that too. It's like, do I need that? No, I don't.
Yeah.
And we said it before, FIFA doesn't need that. Does 2K need that then? I
to start off with, maybe.
Potentially.
They need that presence. They need something to separate them out from the rest.
Would you see 2K buying this though for top 11?
Well, if they buy the license, if 2K buy the license, I imagine they can make whatever they want with it. You can use the license as many times as they want.
Which is kind of where it then gets exciting, because you think 2K on top 11, they bought out Nordeus Games, the developer, and brought that game in. And Top 11 is a hugely successful mobile game. It's not got global cut through. So if we're believing the numbers that have been thrown around, like 2.5 billion to renew the FIFA license, they're saying that's doubled. So let's say FIFA got, okay, give us $1 billion, and we'll just call it quits with a new deal kind of thing. Would 2K spend $1 billion on buying a license for a game? I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't spend $1 billion on acquiring top 11, let alone $1 billion on putting a logo or a set of logos or fonts or designs within top 11. So I'm not sure where they spend that, and that's where the exciting bit comes. Is like, okay, if they were to buy it, would that be extra? And my gut instinct is like, no, 2K aren't doing it in a football game, because it's ridiculous in today's day and age without spending $500 million on developing a football game. Would they spend $1 billion on one license and then $500 million on development to create a football game when all the licenses and stuff are already kind of gone already? I kind of think that's not going to happen. But if
I think if there was any developers out there or any brand out there, people have been wanting a 2K football game for the longest time. It's something I've just thought of as well. As we was discussing that, kind of rung a bell. Obviously, there is a FIFA mobile game, which is obviously made by EA, and it's just their mobile version of the game. It's completely different from the actual console version, but the only time that I think of FIFA, I don't think about the mobile game, but even though I played it, and I played it solidly during lockdown pretty much all the way through, it's a massive, 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 massive moneymaker for them. So if they go down to EA Sports FC, that's absolutely fine. If 2K buy it, then they will do what they just did with the NBA license and make an NBA version of the game as well. So it's a completely different market for them. They might end up spending $1 billion, but I'm fairly certain they will get that back either through console or PC versions of the game. If not, they've got top 11. That'll make them an absolute mint. It will also make their mobile version of a game an absolute mint as well. So they've kind of got three avenues that they could potentially go down. But that's just us talking about it as marketers rather than actually getting down to the nitty-gritty of creating a worthwhile game that will be worthwhile using.
A lot
the
of
license.
people keep getting swept up with UFL and goals game and all the rest of the stuff, and we've said from people that have worked in around games, it takes years, and it takes years to make updates to a game. It takes a decade to make a solid game, not off the bat, but if it takes 5, 6, 7 years to make a game like The Last of Us, it takes almost as much as that to make the foundation of the game that will be a series. Then obviously we don't kind of see that as we go because we're built off of the back of the year before in FIFA. FIFA 22 is built on FIFA 21, which was built on FIFA 20, built on 19, and so on. You don't have the 19, 20, 21 leading up to 22 and 23. It's just that, okay, well, we'll make 2K Football 23 starting next year.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, and you're building off of what? And we've even, like, 2K, a good example, actually, is WWE. So the transition away from Ukes and into doing their own, what was the name of the... I can't remember the name of the dev working on the new WWE. Anyway, so they didn't have all of the Ukes history and had to start fresh. Naturally, the first game wasn't as good, but the next one, now they've got a few years of building it and that. But the point being that there was eggshells broken to make the omelette that will be the next game kind of thing, or the games after. Any developer, be that 2K or whatever, will have to do that with a new football game.
It's been a difficult transition with them. With the WWE game, for instance, with moving away from THQ, it just felt like it just wasn't the same as it used to be. Obviously, with Ukes now departing as well, it's kind of took an even bigger hit. But from what we've seen so far, it looks like they're coming back strong, and that's all you can ask for. Like, they've took the time off. They've made what looks like a very, very good wrestling simulation game. It isn't an arcade game anymore. Those days are well and truly gone. People obviously want a simulation version of it, and there's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's good. And they realised that wasn't good. They needed the time to be able to go back and, tweak a few things. But yeah, 2K will know this. This is probably why they haven't touched a football game, because there's such a big market for them to get in. Wrestling, there wasn't that many at the time. They've got AEW making one. But apart from that, Fire Pro Wrestling maybe. Then obviously got the NBA scene. EA have stopped doing NBA games as far as I'm aware. I think the last one was maybe 4 years ago. So... again, it's a market that they can pretty much saturate with their own product. A football one, it seems like over the last 12 months, they've seemed to have come out of absolutely nowhere again. After years of it only being 2 football games, the market is now becoming, I don't want to say saturated because we haven't seen anything from Goals or UFL yet, but there could be a point in the next 2 years where these just fall apart again and we've still got 2 football games left.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they build it. I mean, my gut tells me that 2K are not interested in football games because of they know they've done wrestling, they've done basketball. They understand what it takes to make an arena game. Basketball in particular will be the closest example. And that's much more laser focused in doing that, but out at a football scale, they'll be like, okay, that's quite difficult. But then when you get the opportunity to pick up the moniker of the biggest football brand, global football brand, FIFA, pick up that and use that as the moniker for your game. Obviously, that could bring in a lot of, I'll just pick up the new FIFA sort of thing and end up buying the wrong sort of game. So that could get conversation going. I'm still not convinced.
It's the biggest pass that you can give 2K with it, and it is the golf game that they picked up. They called The Golf Club. It was made by HP Studios. They bought HP Studios. They've repackaged it. They've given their expertise, and we've got one hell of it. I mean, The Golf Club was a fantastic game anyway. It's just a shit tons better. They've managed to worm EA Sports, and it's something that we will cover obviously in the next couple of articles, but they managed to worm EA Sports out of the woodwork with a very good golf game. They thought, do you know what, there is actually a community out there that actually wants a golf game. Again, more on that soon, but 2K do a lot of things very, very well, and I think it's too much of a risk for them, I think, if anything.
I agree. It would be nice to see, but I'm not convinced. Jumping back through the chat then, FIFA Addiction says it's to do with the prize money more than anything and sponsors. Do you know, I think that would be a part of it, but I think it will just be down to the amount of money. I think if it was, let's say it was $1 billion already, which is a lot of money, if it was another $1 billion again, the guys at EA, I imagine, would be like, well, let's not rock the boat. We're onto a shooter thing here. Okay, that's $1 billion. We'll earn tons from Ultimate Team. Nice. But when they've gone, okay, it's $2.5 billion this time, they've gone, do you know what? We didn't really need the $1 billion anyway. We just maintain the status quo. Now, nah. So there's a bit of that. plus the prize money. So to follow on from that, FIFA Addiction also said if EA wanted to do a tournament with 2 million prize, they can, due to an agreement with FIFA that their tournament has the highest prize money. There's that, plus the fact that surprise mechanics, aka gambling, if that gets turned into an 18 plus thing, which is very likely within the next 5 years, I keep looking over there now. Do you know what, we're going to move over there? Hey, if surprise mechanics, if the gambling elements within Ultimate Team, packs, loot box, that sort of idea, if that becomes an 18 plus thing, which, be honest, I feel like those things should be. They can't do that because FIFA is a football for everyone. I don't know if that is the actual motto, but it's something along those lines. FIFA is about bringing football for everyone. And if you're making football 18 plus and have the FIFA logo on it, it goes against the core mantras of the business. They can't do it. So getting rid of FIFA as well not only means we can have a £5 million FIFA World Cup broadcast live on Sky Sports and everything else. EA Sports FC World Cup, broadcast live sports. It's the biggest prize money in football ever. Plus, we can have loot boxes that anyone can open, and the game can be 18 plus. We don't mind because kids are still going to get it anyway. Because kids still play Grand Theft Auto, so the mum and dad are going to be like, "I'm not bothered if he plays Grand Theft Auto and shoots people in the face. Why? And that's 18. I'm not going to stop him playing an 18-year-old FIFA, am I?" So that will still happen. It frees up quite a lot of things. So from EA's side. Ethically or not, whether we'll leave those bits to the side, but there's a lot of benefits for EA to go away and do their own thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with that. Nietzsche says, "Fluff that. I'm not going back to Wearside Reds." It's all right. The community will have your back. It's fine. I remember spending a couple of hours one time looking for one of your balls in the park, only to find that it ended up in the bin the other side of the bushes from when you kicked it, not 7 feet away. Yeah, I literally booted a ball over. Was it over a bush? Over, I can't remember. Anyway, we're looking around like it's got to be here somewhere. No one's come in and stolen it. It landed in the bin. Like,
all in one, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Nearly.
All in one.
FIFA sells the amount it does due to the license, says Timeless. That in itself is appealing to consumers. Companies would be silly not to be clamouring for the license to the biggest sports game on the planet. I think that's why this conversation is here. Do we think 2K want to make a football game? Genuinely, no. I don't believe they do. There's been conversations around this in the past. 2K are not putting themselves out of the conversation, though, which is the interesting thing. Like, what's his name again? The 2K dude, Strauss Zelnick, has said... we've got a football game, that's all we'll say.
Yeah.
Because that could be a case of, do you know what, actually, now FIFA doesn't have a video game representative. FIFA themselves have said they're looking at video game options. Yeah. So maybe they're not after the video game license, but maybe they want FIFA included in their game. Yeah. So it might be a case of FIFA goes, okay, we're not going to do exclusivity anymore. We'll do a little bit for you and a little bit there and a little bit here. So there could be some stuff. But,
I do agree with that to a certain extent, though. Like, I reckon if you challenged anyone, maybe under the age of arguably 18 nowadays, if you asked them what FIFA was, would they assume it's a video game rather than the global the footballing body?
Yeah,
like FIFA itself is the governing body, not the video game. So we obviously know that, and I'm not. That's just a sweeping generalization that people under the 18 don't. But I would challenge to say that they probably might not do, because you say FIFA, you immediately 110% assume that they're talking about the video game.
If you said to me, "Are you up some FIFA tonight?" And I go, "Yeah, go on then." I don't expect Sepp Blatter to be sat in your living room and a bunch of blokes in business suits and stuff. Like,
reading the wiki over this Discord or something like it. It just doesn't happen. You assume when someone says FIFA that it's going to be the video game, not the governing body. So if EA change their names and then somebody else like 2K picks up and it's called FIFA 2K22, arguably someone who is none the wiser may go into a shop and pick it up off the shelf thinking that it's the EA Sports version of the game, but it's not. It's a 2K version. That would be a nice little win for 2K because it's easy money for them, even though someone has bought the completely wrong game. But yeah, the brand, I don't think the FIFA brand isn't strong without EA Sports itself. I don't think it could survive with. Obviously, it has to survive, otherwise the governing body will fall apart. But in terms of video game sales, FIFA needs EA way, way, way more than EA needs FIFA.
Yeah, I agree. Timeless also says AEW's game being made by No Mercy developers. Now that's the wrestling game I'm clamouring for.
Absolutely.
FIFA Addiction says EA are stuck partners-wise, so they can only go with sponsors linked to FIFA. There are multi-millions made with sponsors who want to work with them but can't. Same thing with anyone that works with any World Cup. any euros or whatever. So whoever is say MasterCard is the credit cards thing. I can't even think of, like, Alipay is that a Champions League sponsor or something like that, or Master League, or MasterCard used to be. Anyway, one is and one isn't. So if you were a Champions League licensee or any other licensee and you want to do something with Alipay, but MasterCard's the monetary sponsor, or you want to do something with MasterCard but Alipay is the monetary sponsor, you can't do it. You have to. So breaking ties with FIFA obviously opens up some avenues there for you. Exactly, yeah, Heineken. So you can, United, for example, at a Champions League match, have Heineken on sale or available within, particularly within the corporate stuff. It might not be the same on the concourses, but in corporate stuff, you will get Heineken in those corporate things because that's the corporate tie-in. Yeah. Whereas
Carl's not going to turn up, are they?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I hope not.
That's the worst beer in the world. It's just proper piss. But
and then a couple of months later, United get knocked out of Europe and then find themselves in Europe again, but a different Europe, and then that's when you get, like, who is it that's does it out, whatever, you get different, which completely blew my mind, going to a United Europa League game and not getting Heineken and getting
Estrella.
Yeah, that's Estrella. That's what it was. It was, and I was like, I didn't expect that, but there you go. But yeah, it opens up avenues. Anyway, we'll put a pin in that. We'll move forward. We're going to come back to the conversation around sports games and EA. Less of the 2K on that bit, but for now we will stick with 2K as we jump into our second story of the day.
My mouse has died. Oh, there we go. We're back.
It's back. Nice.
It's back.
The second story of the day is the fact that Marvel's Midnight Suns has been delayed to the second half of 2022. The game has been pushed back to add more story and for overall polish. This is written by Joshua Robinson at The Gamer. And the main body of the article says, it's been announced by Take-Two and Firaxis that Marvel's Midnight Suns will not be released when first planned and has now been pushed back into the second half of 2022. The game was originally scheduled to launch in March next year, but has now been delayed to add more story, cinematics, and overall polish. That was a quote, by the way. The delay was announced by creative director Jake Solomon and senior franchise producer Garth DeAngelis via the official Midnight Suns Twitter account earlier today. In the statement, they explain that working on Midnight Suns is a, quote, dream project for the team, and go a little bit into why the game has been delayed. Quote, we decided to push our launch because we need more time to make this the best game possible. We believe in our creative vision for Marvel's Midnight Suns and want to do justice in delivering an unforgettable adventure set in the supernatural side of Marvel. These extra months will be used to add more story, cinematics, and overall polish, and will be essential in helping us make our vision a reality. End quote. The reaction online has been fairly mixed, with some wanting Firaxis to take its time and not to overwork themselves, and some more callous fans claiming the card-based system shouldn't be in the game. Hopefully, the team at Firaxis isn't working itself into the ground, and that this delay will indeed help Midnight Suns to be the best game it can possibly be. I'll quickly go over the next paragraph on. In case you haven't heard of the game, Marvel's Midnight Suns is a tactical turn-based RPG from XCOM developer Firaxis. We don't know much about the game at the moment, but we do know that it will have an enormous single-player campaign and will take around 40 to 60 hours to fully beat. So,
yeah, shame.
Marvel's Midnight Suns gets delayed. Two types of fans, apparently. Some that say, okay, take your time, don't overwork your developers. And some that go,
you'd have thought that.
I know, the internet. Imagine.
This is a shame because I was super looking forward to this. I don't understand people saying that. I mean, in XCOM, obviously, you don't have the card-based system, which is probably where Firaxis fans are probably pull the nose at, because they don't want that in their game, even though it's not even in the XCOM franchise. It's just made by the same developers. But I think the card-based system is the thing that kind of sets it aside from everything else, because there is a lot of these tactical RPG isometric games that all play the exact same. Obviously, this is the thing that sets it apart. One, it's Marvel, and two, it's a card-based. It's exactly the same as usual, but you have cards to be able to have, so you're able to have power-ups and you're able to choose your moves accordingly. I'm super looking forward to this game. It's a shame that it's been delayed, but at the end of the day, I'd rather play an absolutely fantastic game. If they need the time, that's absolutely fine. Plus, it's coming out the second half of 2022. It's a good job it's not coming out in the first half. We went through, obviously, over the last couple of months, games have been getting delayed left, right, and centre to what seems to be all coming out in the same week. We've got a mega month this month, November time for Xbox, with the likes of Forza Horizon, which I think is out today, or it might be out tomorrow.
The reviews have hit today.
Right.
I've seen that at 7 o'clock this morning. All the reviews started hitting. By the way, shout out to Arik's Gaming, friend of the channel, because he went full dad. I'm not sure he is a dad, but he went full dad with his review of it and said that this is a wheelie good game.
Great style.
That's committed to the thumbnail and everything. What a guy.
So yeah, like the Xbox have got a mega month this month. When it gets to like February, March time next year, like you just save all your Christmas money because you are going to need it with the games coming out. So it's good that it's moving itself away from all the other games, so it gives itself a very, very good chance. I am super happy about that. I am just genuinely gutted that this game has been delayed because it's something that I was super, super looking forward to, especially since I've been playing quite a bit of Wasteland. I've obviously spoken on it, this channel quite a bit, about what Wasteland's like. It's going to be like that, but obviously just with the card system and the Marvel storyline. The storyline will kick ass. I'm going to put my ass on the line here. It will be a very good story, and I can guarantee that.
See, I that's what I get from it completely. The fact that it's the Marvel Universe and there's some fucking badass characters in there. Wolverine, badass. Yeah. Blade.
We've not
badass.
seen Blade in a game or on media for a long time.
Ghost Rider, badass. You keep
Wolverine.
going. Captain Marvel's in there as well, and Captain America's behind Blade there, kind of thing. It's just there's a lot in there, but this is the darker, more supernatural sort of side of the Marvel Universe, and dark superhero stories invariably are good. When it's all fluffy superhero-y stuff and stay in school, kids, and it's like the Captain America memes, then yeah, not so much. So this has the potential to be a really good story, and I don't mind them taking the time. We always say that anyway. We are obviously not everyone in the games industry, so we don't mind. Take the time. But the good thing for me is touching on something that happened that we spoke about last week with the team at Marvel, 2K, and Firaxis, and Mr. T giving access to Marvel's Midnight Suns to a guy that has a terminal illness. That just makes that even more special. The fact that they knew internally, because they wouldn't have just gone, actually, do you know what, lads, actually, let's move it back until the year after. They would have known this already, and to still come ahead and go, do you know what, actually, we still want to give someone hands-on with this game.
Yeah.
GG's.
Mega.
It is big news. Anyway, Timeless says limited edition is tomorrow, normal edition is Tuesday for Forza.
Right,
there you go. Thank you very much, Timeless. FIFA says, right, we'll catch you soon after my guest FIFA appearance. Thank you very much, FIFA Addiction. We appreciate you giving the guest FIFA appearance. Next time we have FIFA, you can jump back in again.
Yeah.
We'll just put FIFA in every thumbnail now.
Absolutely.
Just get in.
Where do you stand on golf?
Nice segue. It's almost like you've done this before. Well, speaking about golf, from one delay to another, EA has delayed its new PGA Tour golf as well game with no new release window set. This is written by Andy Robinson at VGC. The tagline says the company's first PGA title since 2015 was originally due in spring. So Electronic Arts has delayed the release of its new PGA Tour game and specified no new release window. In a statement issued alongside its latest financial results, the publisher said that the game had been moved out of its previously specified spring 2022 release window, but gave no reason for the delay. I'm hearing that it's because the 2K games just
it's
better,
far superior.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't say that. That's joking, by the way. We like it. Anyway, quote, we're excited to bring Championship Golf to you and we'll be providing more information on our launch plans in the coming months, it said. EA Sports PGA Tour is the publisher's first major golf game since it stopped using the license in 2015.
Because it was shit.
And also, they've only done one now because someone else has realised that golf games can be good after all. And people do want to play them. All I'm saying is that Bibby was like one of the most viewed people. He was at one point the most viewed person playing the game on Twitch on launch day in the world.
Yeah,
that's
facts.
That's a big dub. That is facts. Nobody on Twitch in the world on the launch day of this game had more viewers than Bibby. At one point in time. We'll leave it there.
Yeah, that's the caveat. It doesn't matter. Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
I mean, it may have changed, but at one point in time, we were the best. Over 2,500 people, or whatever it was, like 2,800, I think it was. Anyway, the game is currently in development at EA's Tyburn studio and will be powered by the publisher's flagship Frostbite engine, which it says will leverage stunning fidelity, breathtaking immersive environments, and you get the idea. Yeah. It's gonna be good, but it's not gonna be today. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be. We don't know. We don't know when it's going to be. All we know is that the release window just ain't one. There ain't one. What are your thoughts, babe? You're the golf man.
Yeah, like since the golf club arrived onto our screens, and I'm fairly certain I'm going to go out on a limb here and say
Just want to stop you for a second and say,
okay.
Jack takes a seat at the back of the ice cream van because we don't have the alert command set up in the studio. As Vern said earlier on as well, he called us amateurs. I was too quick. So, we don't have it, so I did the audio. I think he was like amateurs.
As if it right, okay. I didn't think it was that early. So it came out in 2014, the golf club, which is obviously to rival what EA had at the time. Which one lasted the longest? I mean, obviously EA Golf has been going around since what feels like the dawn of time. But they've had the last 6 years off because their last entry was so bad. Like the actual golf game itself was pretty good. There was just no content behind it. Like the swinging, and it was just very arcadey. When you have a section where you can hit a ball through a ring in the air, and then it has a speed boost and carries on flying up in the air, that's not a golf game. Like
that's a double jump.
Yeah, no one
with a
wants
golf
that.
ball.
Yeah, there was rocket jumping with the ball. Like it's that to me is not a golf game. And I think the community kind of responded with that. Like, what are you playing at? Like, this isn't what we're. Anyway, the golf club came out. HB Studios made a fantastic golf game. Since then, they made the golf club 2. They made the golf club 2019. Then they get the big break. Then 2K comes in, buys HP Studios, repurposes it, gets them the license for the PGA Tour, so you're able to play on some of the most iconic courses in the world with a very, very good simulation golf game. So when you're putting backspin on, you're not constantly pressing L1 to get the turbo spin for the ball to come back. None of that stuff. It's just a pure golf simulation. And I think EA Sports wanted a piece of that pie, and I think they was very hasty coming out with the announcement that they did. We mentioned at the time when the news broke, I thought this is never going to come out when they wanted to. The fact that it was going to come out in February next year, I thought that's way too soon. Don't give yourself 12 months to bring this game out. I don't know how long it was in development for, but clearly not long enough for them to be able to make a golf game. So they have got a lot to do, I think, especially to try and bring in people who have obviously moved on over the last 6 years to play a completely different game. Whatever they bring out needs to be a simulation. It cannot go back to being an arcade game again.
I wonder if that is part of it. I wonder if they came out because we've got stunning visuals, and that's not surprising. EA have excellent environment artists in their sports teams. Look at any EA game, and you'll get something that looks beautiful. And the old golf games look beautiful as well. Fine, but I wonder if they've seen just how well 2K's golf has been received, and people go, you know, it's nice to have something that me as a golfer appreciates. It's not the same as going out onto the green kind of thing, but it's the digital representation. And I wonder if they've gone, actually, do you know what, we probably need to make sure that we nail this a little bit, because we've just come out with a PGA Tour logo and stuck the EA Sports bit on it, expecting to just walk back into the room, but at the moment everyone's in the room turned around facing the other guy who's currently going so they thought, oh shit, let's go back out of the room, let's make sure we've got everything on point again.
It just doesn't have the essence that it used to have, which is a shame, because the EA games were the pinnacle of golf games way back when. But EA just kind of let it rot. Having Rory McIlroy on at the time was a very good move for them. They didn't have Tiger Woods. Go for the next big thing, which was, at the time, Rory was winning a lot of competitions. Since then, he's hardly won much in the last 6 years. He hasn't performed well. His world rankings has dropped significantly. I think he won something maybe 2 months ago, but that was the first thing he'd won in maybe 5 years. Like, he's just not the player that he was. So then, I don't know whether or not they're going to come back with a face of it again. They can't have Tiger Woods. Obviously, he is with 2K now. Will they go for someone like Bryson? Maybe. Will they go for Justin Thomas? Maybe. Obviously, he was on the front cover of 2K's version of the game. They need someone to be the face of this. And someone like Bryson or Brooks nowadays is probably the person who would be the best choice.
See, I know nothing about golf. I know nothing about EA's direction with PGA. But I know that they like either the all singing, all dancing professional like a Tiger Woods, or they like the young upstarts, the potential metronome for the next 10 years, like your Erling Haalands from the FIFA and the Jadon Sanchos and stuff like that.
Baps.
And this is where I know nothing about golf. Bryson DeChambeau, is that his name? I know him as fucking Happy Gilmore. Some guy that's got big feck off arms that comes in and just smashes the ball. Something
You're surprised the ball's
different.
still in one piece when it hits the floor afterwards.
Yeah, it's something different, something a bit more exciting, and he's that kind of person. Plus, Bryson DeChambeau, that's a fucking name and a half.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, if
Fantastic
it was
name.
called like Jonathan or something like that,
He's a proper lad as well. Like there is obviously some beef between him and Brooks Koepka. There is a long-standing beef now that seems to be going on for ages, but the rivalry is still there. And if that's something that they can try and inject to a game as well, that would be fantastic in some capacity if they can use that kind of the marketing side of it. But this is the kind of conversation that I'd love to have with someone like Apex Hound. Like Apex Hound is the golf stream. If I was to ever need to get my golf fix, he's the guy that I'd go to watch. And he's golf.
We'll
he's
get him on.
hardcore.
We'll do like
I will. I do. It might be something that we end up getting in the pipeline. Because I do speak to him. We do DM occasionally when we're talking about the golf stuff. So yeah, that's definitely something I'd look. It would be like a 4-hour podcast. It'd be like me and Asim talking about Resident Evil, but all things golf. I think that would be an amazing podcast.
We'll do that. We'll get him to come over, and we'll do that golf thing that we're talking about. We'll get you, Paul, and Apex Hound, all of them, and I'll be there commenting here. We have. We've got Pepino of Ice Cream Uploads fame.
It'll have to be the summer though. I want my shorts on. I'm not doing it in the winter.
He's got his legs out.
Get the pins out.
And then he smacks it. Mashed potato!
Yeah. Into the drink.
And
Reload.
into the drink I go.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you missed it, EA has delayed the PGA Tour golf game. There is no release window set yet. It was due in spring. Could be end of the year, might be the year after. We'll keep you posted if we get any updates on that. I wouldn't be surprised if we get them soon. So it was a statement that was released saying that it has been delayed. I wouldn't be surprised if we do start to get some updates. When is the next major golf event?
I think it's February.
So maybe then that kind of usually you'll get like video games trying to mirror real world excitement and get people on board. So we might see stuff. We might get adverts and stuff around then.
Well, the Masters is in April, first week of April, which I think they have got the Masters license. That was something that they was quite proud of because it is obviously a big license to be able to have. That's like having the World Cup kind of thing. So there was an open. I imagine February time they wanted it to get it in. It's my months of the year. I don't know where everything sits nowadays, but is April in spring?
I was having this conversation the other day. I was thinking, like December, January, and February are winter.
Yeah.
March, April, May are spring. June, July, August, summer, and then where do I get to August? September, October, November are.
We're missing a month there. There's an overlap somewhere, but anyway,
you get it. You get it.
But I imagine because when this come out in spring originally,
stay in school, kids.
They wanted this to come out in spring originally. I think they wanted to try and tie it in with the Masters because that is the big license that they've got. If they're going to miss that, where do they go with that after that? It's a difficult one. But I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
I feel like it has to be the Masters. That's where it's got to be. They're putting something out there for sure. Even if it's not ready, they need to have something. I mean, the fact that it was supposed to be coming out in spring, it won't be coming out in spring, but they will be hyping it. If we were talking about it months ago and it's not coming out until spring, then surely we should be talking about it in spring for it to come out in later in the year kind of thing. It might be a Christmas release or something like that.
They was doing their all singing and dancing about the Masters. If they could have a playable demo, which you could go around, maybe obviously if it could go to Pebble Beach or something like that, that would be fantastic. But I don't think they're going to give that away in a demo. But they need to bring something out alongside it if they're talking about it.
Yeah.
Augusta, obviously it's at Augusta. But yeah,
there you go.
Interesting.
There you go. Do you know what? I mean, soon enough, I'm sure they will be rolling out the golf games. This is me segueing into the next news article, by the way. Surely, soon enough, they will be rolling out, but that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about now is the fact that Netflix begins rolling out Netflix games on Android. The service launches with 5 games and will be coming to iOS at a later date. This is written by Jeremy Signor. What a name. Signor
Signor
Jeremy.
No pingers to the right.
All right.
All right, mate. There we go. Okay, da.
So Netflix games begin rolling out games on Android. The service launches with 5 games and will be coming to iOS at a later date. Netflix announced via Twitter that it would begin implementation of its Netflix game service on Android devices. It launches with 5 games and features no ads, no additional fees, and no in-app purchases. Okay, GG's. What's the catch? Let the games begin. Tomorrow, Netflix games will start rolling out on the Netflix mobile app. First on Android with iOS on the way. It's early days, but we're excited to start bringing you exclusive games with no ads, no additional fees, and no in-app purchases. The interesting... Okay, I'll come back to it. The 5 games that the service is launching with are Stranger Things 1984, Stranger Things 3, Shooting Hoops, Card Blast, and Teeter Up. While this lineup of games leans on name recognition and basic game types, all Netflix subscribers have access to them at no extra cost. At first blush, this would seem like an Apple Arcade type service with a more convenient subscription tie-in via the regular Netflix sub, but Apple Arcade launched with some real powerhouse games like Grindstone and Card of Darkness. Real powerhouse games, those. Have you heard of either of those? If Netflix games is going to grow into something worth playing, it needs to bring the games. Still, Netflix did spearhead the successful interactive experience Bandersnatch. It needs to tap into that innovation if it wants to compete in the game space and have more than licensed games and easy to recognize archetypes. Netflix needs something to stand apart, some truly creative games to reel people in. Right now, the offering is wanting. There are hints that Netflix games could turn into something worth paying attention to. They recently acquired Oxenfree developer Night School Studio, and it's not like the service doesn't have a ton of game-adjacent content already, with The Witcher, Riot's Arcane, and Castlevania shows all gracing the platform. Netflix Arcade is available now for all Netflix subscribers on Android, and is coming to iOS soon.
Hive RP.
We did. It's not come up in the feed. Lake, thank you very much. It's the chatbot just doesn't show it. Lake, thank you very much for the 9-month. I will try to pronounce it in a sec. But thank you very much for 9 months with the Prime, dude. Appreciate you.
Hero.
Hiva Paiva? Fuck, I've butchered that one. Thank you very much. Have a pie, mate. Is that what it says? Have a pie. He I don't know. Hiva Pava.
Wow.
Fuck's sake. That was we're up there. That was for you. That was for you.
I've got Google Translate on this. I think I have.
It means good day.
Oh, okay.
I've just read it out of my mind.
Oh yeah, you worked it out, did you?
Yeah, because
okay,
Mrs. Bibby says Bandersnatch wasn't good.
I think she's talking out of her ass.
I've not seen it.
It's good. It's Black Mirror, isn't it?
Yeah, I started watching Black Mirror, got like 3 episodes in, thought this is a bit meh.
Fuck's sake.
So I gave up on it.
Travesty. I love Black Mirror.
It was the one where some dude was in some exercisey thing.
Yeah, it's good, that one. I mean,
like,
Samantha will tell you it's not. She's got no taste, though. I mean, look at me.
She watches Fast and Furious. She's a fucking ledge, mate. But yeah, I was sat there watching this fucking exercisey thing, like, what's happening? And then there was the one before, which was was that Black Mirror, the one where the Prime Minister's got like pig?
Yeah. It's all based on what ifs. That's the beauty of Black Mirror. Every episode's completely different. Like, you don't have to watch. You can start season 2, episode 4 if you really want.
It was just the fact that like the Prime Minister one, I thought this is pretty good. Is this like? And then all of a sudden, the way it ended, I was like, oh.
Yeah. Well, most of it's based on real events, so in it, like David Cameron apparently did do that. Yeah, I'm being very vague about what I say here because I don't want anyone.
Did you say David Cameron shagged a pig?
Yeah. Yes, apparently he did.
God, I mean, allegedly, maybe not. We don't know. But...
So yeah, it's all based on what if it, like, if the world didn't have any bees, what would happen? So then they manufacture robotic bees for them to be able to have the pollen and make honey. I really know how all this works, but yeah, it's all based on what if events, and then this episode's based around that. But yeah, like Bandersnatch, I thought was really good. The way they did it as well was class. As if, apparently Mrs. Bibby doesn't. I'll be having words.
Apparently it was trash.
She's talking out her ass.
Spike says Cameron, expert at making bacon. Yeah. You eating? Yup. Boss, bacon, yup. Okay, that's enough. We've had enough Lion King references. He's a big pig. Yup. You can be a big pig too.
Back to the Android games. That's a fine selection of games that they are giving you with your subscription now. Stranger Things 3, that's been put on every single console. That obviously hasn't been doing that well.
I own Stranger Things. Like maybe 3, I think it is. I own that twice. One through the Twitch launcher and one through Epic Games.
Yeah. So I mean, it was on PlayStation as well. I think Jess streamed it on this channel.
I think she did. Yeah.
It mentions The Witcher and Castlevania, of which are owned by 2 video game companies that I don't think they're going to relicense out.
Not anywhere related to this whatsoever. By the way, we've got cool friends, but we don't do anything with that. Great.
I don't think Konami or CD Projekt are going to be lending this out to Netflix to be a creative video game, if I'm being honest. Especially Castlevania is on kind of the up again with all the collections and stuff that's coming out. It's highly popular. The animated TV series, highly popular.
It depends on like if Netflix did an Epic and when, do you know what? Because obviously Castlevania has a lot of old school retro games, a lot of mobile devicey games, like a Switchy console ones, and you think, okay, well, those could be ported to work on Android and iOS devices. So if they wanted to get their checkbook out, there's a lot of stuff there, particularly with the Castlevania sort of world that they could run at, but
the fuck are they going to do with The Witcher?
So don't be expecting to see Geralt or whatever he's called, like strolling around on your mobiles. No,
they'll just be Gwent. That's all they need to do. Just make the Gwent. They just need to make a Gwent card game, which they already have, and you can pay for it. I mean, I think it's free as well. On most. Anyway, I can't see either of them lending their IPs out for Netflix to make a video game out of, unless they was making an absolute ton of it.
See, I don't mind the sound of this. Like, Netflix making a free game service on your mobile so you can play games on the go. Netflix giving you some stuff that is stuff that you've heard of, at least. So the Stranger Things 3. I mean, some people, it's quite easy for a lot of people to have not got Stranger Things 3. If you don't have a PC, then you've kind of got a good chance of not having that. So that, other Stranger Things, and then as it mentions, like easy to recognise archetypes. I feel it's a bit negative, though, this article in that sort of sense, because it's free. It's clearly early days because it's only on iOS, not on any consoles, web browser, or not on iOS. It's only on Android. It's not on the others. So it's clearly early days. We're only launching with a little bit. But then it kind of like hypes up Apple Arcade with Grindstone and Card of Darkness. Like, everyone's heard of these. Like, powerhouse games. No idea. I mean, they could be good in the mobile scene, but not for me. And it's like, they've not done a Stadia. If we're talking about like free to sign up for services and stuff, at least they're free to sign up for and give you games that you could just jump in with no ads, no whatever. It just ties into an already existing subscription. If Stadia went, actually, do you know what? We're going to make it so that you can play your PlayStation stuff on browsers and whatever. That'd be fucking wonderful.
Yeah.
Or Xbox stuff. That'd be wonderful. No, Stadia was like, actually, do you want to pay for something else to play what you've already got? Whereas these are like, you're actually paying for stuff. Here's some extra stuff for free. So it might be a bit meh, but it's free. It's an extra. I'll take that. So yeah, there you go. Netflix. It begins rolling out Netflix games on Android devices now-ish. Did it say? Was it today? Maybe today? I don't know.
Yeah, well, it was. It got announced on the 2nd of November, so it should be out today.
Yeah, Netflix yesterday. Is available now for all Netflix subscribers on Android. So if you've got an Android device, check out Netflix games. Do let us know what you think about it. I won't, because I've got an iOS device. So
I might try it upstairs, but I might play Fortnite instead. Who knows? So look at the Forza scores. Wow.
Okay. Let's bring you in close. Let's take the news article down, because we're not talking about Forza anymore. We're not talking about Netflix games anymore. We are going to wrap up. We are done for the news. But as we mentioned, Forza Horizon 5 came out today. Before we jump into the scores, I will just say quickly that I did see more than one source on my social feeds this morning saying potential game of the year.
Oof.
I think both of them. No, one of them said not even potential. This is my game of the year. So without further ado, give us the run through, babe. What we're looking at.
So as we mentioned before, Forza Horizon 5. I think it's their. Is this their flagship game now in terms of Xbox's first game to come out for the console? Am I missing something that's come out?
Could be. So,
Time Slot says it's out tomorrow. Yeah. Sorry, the reviews are out now. I didn't mean the game. I apologise with that.
But it could be. There's no other. Is there any other major Microsoft owned properties that have released.
I don't know. This has to be their flagship. I can't think of one. If they have brought a game out that's first party, it was obviously shit because I can't remember it. But in terms of their flagship game now, Chris.
Yeah, so there we go.
Yeah, there we go. Yep, and nope.
Yep, nope. One or the other.
This is very good for them. 10 IGN, VGC 5 out of 5, Windows Central 5 out of 5, Stevivor 10, Gaming Bolt 10, The Gamer 5 out of 5, Game Informer 9.5, WCC F Tech 9.5, Press Start 9.5, Shack News 9, GameSpot 9, PC Gamer 9.
OpenCritic gives it a 92, whereas Metacritic gives it a 91.
Outrageous.
That is filth for a racing game as well. So giving context into that, we'll bring you back in close again. Giving context into that, sports games, racing games, and shooter games get, to use a car term, a bumpy ride. They get a bumpy ride when it comes to review scores because we've all played a football game before. What has it done that's new? I mean, it could be a really solid game in itself, but if it doesn't push the genre forward, then it could get low marks just as a result of that. Nobody wants repetition. Nobody wants the same again. But Forza getting 91 and 92-ish and a lot of 10s in that is beautiful. Is beautiful. Halo was supposed to be there and got delayed due to looking atrocious. Hashtag Craig. Has there been a bad Forza game? Says Timeless. There hasn't. I mean, it's not so much bad, but they've not really been exciting either as well. I'm not talking everything, but I'm talking. I mean, I've drifted off racing games, but I'm giving off of my opinion based off of what opinions I've been given. So I would say they've not. It's not that they've been bad. They just haven't really done anything special, anything new. They've not really pushed the envelope. They've not given you stunning visuals that you've never seen anywhere before or whatever. Whereas maybe this seems like you're doing that. What's Jordan saying is in the
he said he put check the Xbox channel, the Scoop channel, so I have, and it's just listed out all the properties that are owned by Xbox. And it makes me pissed that obviously he has put Deathloop in. It's not even out on Xbox, is it? You can't play it until next year, is it? So he's included it even though Xbox own it, but it's not necessarily an Xbox first party game, so you're not fucking having that.
So Forza Horizon 5 we've got. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Okay, well that one is one, but okay, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. That's not a next gen game though, is it? Ori and the Will of the Wisps came out on the last gen, did it not?
I'm sure Psychonauts 2 did as well, didn't it?
So it was a last gen game that would have been upscaled. Psychonauts 2, same, right? Was that not? I don't know. Deathloop, obviously. Quick,
Psychonauts I know it's a first party game, but I thought I'm talking about strictly next gen games, like a first party next gen game. I thought Psychonauts was. No, it's got an only next gen version on Xbox. Didn't get a PS5 version.
No, it's got an only next gen release on Xbox. Didn't get a PS5 version. Okay, well, fine. If you want to be pernickety, it's pernickety. There we go. It's not the first Xbox property. It's the first one that people really care about. To be fair, the only people that care about Psychonauts are Jordan. Now, to be fair, I did watch Fixer playing.
It looked good, didn't it?
A bit of Psychonauts the other day. MC Fixer, by the way, check him out on Twitch. He was playing Psychonauts the other day, and actually within that, he said he's had a lot of Xbox fanboys. Essentially, I don't know if he used that word, but getting at him saying to play Psychonauts, he said it's a good sort of platformer kind of game that you don't get. But that's it. It's not on the same wavelength. We're not talking about Xbox owned properties. We use the phrase flagship. Would you say Psychonauts is a flagship property?
Yeah. If you're talking about Xbox mascots, is Psychonauts in that conversation?
I didn't even know it was an Xbox only game until I watched Pixar playing it on Monday, Tuesday this week. So.
The Deathloop one still tickles me, but anyway, Wasteland. You could argue that one as well, but it's not. So, I mean, Forza Horizon for me is the only flagship Xbox next gen game that is out there at the moment.
Actually, to be fair, Battletoads is in there, which is an absolute banger. So.
So for me, this is the flagship stuff. This is the game that you are looking towards. This and Halo are going to be the two things that Xbox are judged on, not Psychonauts, unfortunately.
And did you know if this is what they're going to be judged on? 10 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s, 5 out of 5s. 9 out of 10s, 9.5s out of 10s, 91 to 92-ish on Open and Metacritics.
Smash.
Yeah,
That
big
is
time.
a big achievement. I mean, I said as well. I've said it many times. I'm going to say it again. I'm not a big racing guy. I used to be, and I've done it. I've been there, I've done it. I don't need to play that again. Until something new happens in the world of racing, then I'm not bothered. That said, I did say that this looks like, out of all the racing games that I've seen over the last 4 or 5 years,
Yeah.
I've seen Gran Turismo recently. Trailers for that. Not
Ride
bothered.
3.
What?
Ride 3.
I don't remember what that
That's
was.
That's that one. I don't think it's not out yet. It's that one that looks super realistic at night, where they're going through the puddles and you're on the
yeah.
race bikes and
I mean,
stuff.
while that does have my attention,
Graphically,
yeah, it has my attention in awe of looking at it, not
Yeah.
necessarily wanting to play it.
Mhm.
Whereas Forza Horizon 5 is the one where I thought I actually quite would like to play this.
4 was mega. That's the first racing game I'd played properly in forever. But Forza Horizon 4 was, I would argue, that was a 9 out of 10 for me. I don't even know what would make it a 10 out of 10.
I mean, jets and all sorts of things that were in this one that we watched in the E3 and Gamescom trailers.
Yeah, definitely a 9 out of 10. But yeah, and like Timeless says, Forza, Halo, Gears, that's what I judge them on, and that's what I assume 95% of the video game world will judge Xbox on. This, for them, is their flagship stuff. And if it is getting 92 and it's getting 10s across the board from big, reputable companies, not indie reporters, critics, that is what you should be leading your marketing with. And there's they're shouting it from the rooftops. It's very easy to see why. It's not a difficult decision.
It's good to see as well. It's overdue. We've been saying that we need Xbox to have some games because we were saying, it's so great, they've got the Game Pass and you've got all of these old games and all of these. There's a reason they're all free, and there's always a stick to beat it with. But when you add something that is 92 OpenCritic, 91 Metacritic, 10s and stuff across the board, and just put that into Game Pass day one because you can, because you're an absolute G, then that is when Xbox and Game Pass can now start saying Game Pass is. I mean, Xbox is Game Pass is the best deal in gaming, but now they can say it with the chest.
Yeah, no, it is the best game for servicing games. It's like when they dropped out Gears on the opening day. Like, that's the kind of shit that will make that people will judge Xbox for. And again, it always sounds like we're absolutely battering it. I mean, I was saying Game Pass Day 4. It always sounds like we come across negative towards Xbox, but we haven't got that connotation. It's literally, you judge by the games that you end up creating, as well as obviously the nice service that's in there as well. But the games that you're putting out is what you are technically judged for. That's why you have the consoles. That's why you have red, blue, green. That's essentially why they're there. So if you've got no games to shout about, Nintendo have got all their first party games that you go and try and buy one now, it's still 50 quid in the shop. You've got a PlayStation that are still creating first party experiences that are still being talked about to this day, with the likes of The Last of Us, the Spider-Man games. So Xbox now bringing out a Forza Horizon 5 and it's getting 10s and 5s across the board depending on what. Can we just say something? Can they not just make a universal scale for video games rather than 5 being the max score and 10 being the max score?
It's
like, do it out of 20 for fuck's sake.
See, there's all sorts of conversations. Like, I actually kind of like the way. I mean, I like the way Eurogamer do it. So Eurogamer just do whether they recommend it or whatever. They don't give a score on it, which I like. I like a lack of review scores. However, when you're making content on the fly like this, then review scores are actually quite useful. But yeah, like 9s, 10s. There was something used to have it out of 16 as well or something. I was like,
it's ridiculous. Like, how can you, when you have it out of 10, if you give something a 10, it's like there's literally no faults with this game at all. Like, this is the best game there has ever been, ever. If you give it an 8, it feels like you're kind of in the road, but it needs expectation. Like, a 5 is an average game. It's an okay game. It's a good game, but it feels like a really low score, and it feels like there's a lot wrong with it, when realistically, it's
5 is a solid game that has issues, and the issues could be the story's not always great. There's a lot of waiting about.
Yeah.
Maybe the pacing's off. Maybe there is some bugs and stuff in it or whatever. But a 5 could still be a good game. Below 5 is when you're starting to get, okay, is it now even worth it? But 6, 7s, and 8s are decent. 9 is pretty much perfect.
Yeah.
10 is. I mean, you can get a 10 out of 10 that's not perfect, but for something in that point in time, just clicks.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It feels perfect.
might even be down to price as well.
Yeah. Like free on Game Pass.
Like free on Game
on
Pass.
day 4, as Timeless says. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, just quickly wrapping it up. Gears 5 came out to Game Pass, and arguably wasn't a 10 out of 10 game. It wasn't a 91, 92 open critic, Metacritic sort of game. But what it was 50 quid saved.
Yeah.
If you've got Game Pass, then okay, well, you can play that game, you can try it, and it might have been a good game. But you've saved 50 quid. Whereas this, now you've saved 60, 70 quid, and you've got an exceptional game on day 1 to 4-ish, depending on how you look at it. But anyway, we will wrap things up there. Thank you for sticking around. To give you a recap of the stories, 2K Sports has not turned down the FIFA license. It's not necessarily taking it, but they've said, you know what, we're not going to say too much on that. So they could be interested. You never know. If that develops into something, we will keep you posted. Following that, sticking with 2K, Marvel's Midnight Suns has been delayed until the second half of 2022. It's due to come out in spring, but it's going to be coming out later next year. Take all the time you need. Sticking with delays, PGA Tour, the new game from EA, has been delayed and now has no release window set. We'll keep you updated on that, should that advance anytime over the next few months. And Netflix begins rolling out Netflix games on Android, and then we give you a little bit of a recap on how Forza Horizon even is. Is it Forza Horizon 5? 4, 5? I can't remember.
Horizon 5.
5, there we go. Forza Horizon 5. How that is doing in the review scores, it's kicking ass.
It's kicking major ass.
Speaking of kicking ass, we're going to kick our asses out of the studio because we're done. Thank you for sticking around for the full show. We appreciate you, beautiful people. I don't actually have my feed of what's happened because there we go, it does have it. I'm going to say Lakes wasn't in there a second ago, but Lake, thank you very much for the sub. Viv and Baker Chin, thank you very much for the bitties over the course of the stream as well. If anyone did throw any hosts and raids down, they don't pop up in this feed, so we appreciate you beautiful people too. Thank you very much for that. We're going to disappear. We'll be back tomorrow morning though.
Yes, we will.
I will bring some PUBG. Hopefully, I've got all my audio stuff. I'm thinking on Friday. I was talking about Friday. We'll be back tomorrow morning. I say we. You will be back tomorrow morning with a solo scoop. I will not be on the scoop tomorrow because I will be fixing my setup. But before even that happens,
yes.
I mean, this is where I usually say, is there anything you'd like to add, Bib? But before I ask you if there's anything you'd like to add, is there anything happening tonight, Bib?
There is something happening tonight, Graham. I have been preparing well. I have been opening packs and I have been doing and completing SBCs in order to open more packs tonight as we go through some FIFA Frenzy action from around about 6:30, but it all depends on what time I get home and stuff like that. But yeah, going to be playing some more FIFA. We're going to jump into some Div Rivals. We're going to get some packs open. We're going to complete tonight's SBC. It's going to be a good time had by all, I imagine. Yeah. I hope so.
So yeah, do feel free to join us tonight, 6:30-ish.
Ish. It's always the caveat. We have to get home from studio, don't we, and that.
So yeah, 6:30-ish tonight for some FIFA Frenzy. Packs and more. Jumping into the chat before I ask you the last bits, Bib. Game Pass Ultimate's users got Gears 5 Ultimate, which is worth 120 quid. There you go. So you didn't necessarily get yourself a 10 out of 10 game, but you got yourself a 10 out of 10 price. Enix, I predicted end of November, December reveal and March 20th, 2022 release date. So could still happen. Talking about Switch, as Ad says, I'm not happy with Nintendo at the moment. Where's the Switch Pro announcement? Timeless says, buy, wait for a sale, rent, or never touch again. Are you talking about Bib?
No. Yeah, I think that's. I mean, to be fair, I do like that system. Buy, wait for sale, rent, or never touch again. That is a nice system. There may be caveats where they overlap, but
yeah. Enix has ordered Battlefield 2042 for 20 quid. It was also installing. I saw he was installing Vanguard. Let me know what you think. Mr. T says scores are an unspoken deal between PR marketing and review sites, a necessary thing for both in terms of promotion. Exactly. If you say you've got a big banner and then there's a paragraph on it that explains that this is actually a really well-paced game. It does really well, highlighting the intricacies of societies in the world of today and the monetization of blah, 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 blah. However, it does weaken in this area, but overall, we think we'd still recommend the game. It's like, what does that say? Whereas if it says 9 out of 10, it's like, boom, yes, we'll have one of those, please. So yeah, it makes sense. Makes complete sense. Anyway, Bobby's playing 2K FIFA, says Timeless.
That's me. No, Bobby will be playing it.
Actually, no, sorry, that's a typo. He meant Booby.
Yeah,
there
booby.
We go. Booby.
Booby.
Thank you very much, Timeless. Enix, Asim, everyone else back through the chat. Before we disappear, though.
Yes.
Mr. Bib.
Yes.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes, there is. Thank you very much for joining us for today's episode of The Scoop. That's 4 down, 1 to go. So if you want to help shape those shows, there is 2 ways that you can do that. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or get involved with our Discord. If you watch this in any of our on-demand services, go into the description below. All the list and all the links that you require will be listed in the description below, but all we need from you is a URL plus your thoughts and impressions. I will then give you my thoughts and impressions on tomorrow's show, which will be Graham.
Nice. It will be
I
nice.
hope so. It'll be a good time.
Oh, do you mean 10 a.m.?
I do, yeah.
Okay, 10 a.m.?
Ish. Obviously. Obviously.
We will be back 10 a.m.-ish, as we are each and every single weekday and weekend day as well, to be honest, because we play it on the weekend as well. Freaky Blinders did redeem, quickly before we go, ask a question. So I said, fire away. And he said, can the human eye see more shades of green?
Not mine, because my eyesight is horrendous.
What does that mean, though? Like, compared to what? Can a human eye see more shades of green than another eye?
Yeah. I need the hex code to be able to tell you if I can see it or not.
I'm going to say yes.
Okay, yes.
Ish.
There's green, dark green, light green. That's it.
I mean, yeah, there's darkish green,
Yeah.
lightish green.
I'm not going to talk about emerald green or sea green.
Yes, that's why night vision scopes are green scale. I did not know that. There you go. So we see more when it's in a green scale. Did not know. There you go. You learn something new every day. Thank you very much, Freaky Blinders. We are going to disappear though because we're over time.
Yeah.
I appreciate you redeeming the ask a question. If anyone wants to stick around, we're going to drop a raid on a friend of the channel. Freaky Blinders, ask that question using channel points. The sprinkles. If you want some sprinkles, stick around for the raid. You get extra sprinkles for doing that. So we're going to raid a friend. Have yourselves a beautiful, fantastic, lovely day. And until then, I find the config button, hit this button, I go there, and then we say, stay frosty.
Stay frosty.